You are going to die one day. You are. And I don't want you to get so caught up in the day-to-day way of things and all the distractions that you forget that bleak, morbid fact. You are going to die. And it sounds morbid, but it's actually enlightening because it brings perspective back to life. Death, in a sense, is the light that we measure life through. It gives perspective and it gives focus back to life. It should make you question what this life is truly about. It should make you question what you are here for, what your purpose is, what your mission is. If you're currently living life in a way that would make you proud on your deathbed, you should aim to live your everyday life in such a way that if you were to die today, that you wouldn't have regrets. I've always tried to live life in such a way that when I reach 70 years old, 80 years old, 90 years old, I won't look back and have deep regrets. I won't regret not having pursued my dreams, and I won't regret not having been vulnerable, and I won't regret not having been present in a moment. There's a book by an Australian nurse whose job was to take care of people who were on their way out of this world. She would typically take care of patients in their last 6 to 12 weeks of living. And she wrote a book that's called The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying. The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying. And I forget her name, but I took a gander through this book, and one of the top regrets, or the top regret actually, was this. I wish I would have had the courage to live a life true to myself, not what was expected of me. Again, the top regret of the dying was that I wish I would have lived a life that was true to myself, not what was expected of me. And the fact that that is the most common regret amongst the dying, that paints a scary vision. Just imagine going through your entire life the way that society wants you to. You know, going to school, then going to college, then getting your 9-to-5 job, and then marrying the person who your parents want you to marry, and just sticking within the boundaries of this world's system your entire life to try to please everybody else around you, to try to please your friends, to try to please your parents, to try to please your partner, but never doing the things to please yourself and to make yourself feel fulfilled. And so many people do that. I almost did that. My parents wanted me to go to college, but I refused to do it because I wanted to focus on pursuing what felt right to me. And I'm so glad I did, because if I hadn't, I wouldn't have achieved freedom in my life. But more importantly, I wouldn't have achieved mental happiness, and I wouldn't have had the presence that I do, because when you neglect your purpose and neglect what's at your core, then there's going to be a deep feeling of unrest within you. You're going to know deep down inside that something is not in alignment with your deepest vision. When something is out of whack in our lives, it is impossible to feel completely at ease. So I want you to ask yourself, if you were to continue living life exactly how you're living it right now, would you be happy on your deathbed, or would you have regrets? Is what you're doing now going to make you proud on your deathbed, or is it going to make you look back at your life like, why did I live like that? Why did I live in such a small way? Why did I try to please others rather than trying to do what was right for me? Why did I allow others to command my life around subconsciously? Why did I give in to what they wanted? Why didn't I pursue what I know I could have done? Why did I not have the courage to live a life that was true to myself? Why? And one of the other top 5 common regrets, specifically for men, was that they wish they would have worked less. And this is interesting because I talk a lot about grinding hard towards your dreams and putting the work in, but it's very interesting that one of the most common regrets among men is working too much and not making enough time for the connections, and not making enough time for their family, and not making enough time for their friends. Because when we get to our deathbed, none of the work stuff matters. It doesn't. What matters is who did we connect with? Who did we bring value to? How did we change our family? How did we connect with our friends? not the work. That's not what matters. And I talk so much about putting in the work and pursuing the mission and pursuing your purpose, not for the money, but so that you can be able to afford to focus on those connections, those deep connections, and also so that you can bring your gift to the world. It's not about the money. It's about building the freedom so that you can pursue the deeper things beyond the money. I think it's very telling of where we are as a society that one of the most common regrets among men on their deathbed is they wish they had worked less. Now, I'm all for putting the work in for your dreams and pursuing the hustle and truly putting the work in to achieve what you want in life. But you also need to consider what's on the other side of that. Like, well, what about your family? What about your friends? What about your deep, genuine connections? What is there beyond the work? What is there beyond the hustle? What is there beyond the money? You need to have more in your life or your life will feel empty. And again, the fact that that is one of the most common regrets among men on their deathbed, it proves that. And I was doing some studies, I was doing some research on life quality and life satisfaction. And one of the top 3 things that correlated the most with high life quality and high life satisfaction was having connections, deep, genuine connections and friendships. And that just, it shows that, again, it's not about the money. It's not about many of the things that we try to focus on. It's about who we are connected with and who is a part of our tribe. We need that tribe around us. So I want to encourage you to, of course, put in the work towards your business and towards your grind and towards your financial freedom. Put in the work there. You need to. That is very important. But don't do it at the expense of everything else. Take time to yourself. Take time to build those connections. Take time to have those relationships, because when you're on your deathbed, you're not going to care about the money. It's not going to matter to you. You're going to care about the genuine memories and the connections and the friendships and the love stories and everything else. The money is not going to matter to you. So again, I'm not saying that you shouldn't work. You need to work. You need to build your empire as a man. Absolutely. But just have a balance. Be sure to make time for everything else in life, because life without connection is empty. Life without connection is nothing. Okay? And I know that talking about death can seem like a very morbid, scary topic, so we oftentimes ignore it. But I think that that's a really foolish thing, because again, death just gives us a certain clarity of vision. It allows us to see the light at the end of the tunnel and to figure out, am I doing what's right in my life? Am I living life with a purpose? If I was to die today, would my life have had any meaning? Or am I just ambling through life, floating through life like a lost tadpole with no focus and no meaning and no substance to this life? What am I living for? Is there anything beyond just my simple state of existence, or am I just floating through? You need to ask what the deeper purpose is in your life. You need to consider the fact that you're going to die. You are going to die one day. You are. None of us can escape from that. You are going to die. So try to live your life in such a way that when you are on your deathbed, you can look back on life happily and you can say, yes, I did the absolute best that I could, and I made deep connections, and I've had love stories, and I achieved amazing things. I didn't just go down the comfortable, safe path and just take what life pushed on me. I forged my own path, and I am proud of it. And are you living your life in such a way now that you will be able to say that when you're on your deathbed? Are you? Because again, the top regrets of the dying people, that they spent too much time at work and that they did not have the courage to live life based on their own values. Now, there's a couple other ones as well, but those are 2 of the top 5 highest regrets among the dying. And that says so much. Those say so much about the ways that we are choosing to live our life. We are too guided by societal guidelines instead of choosing to live by our values. You need to live by your values. You need to live by your heart. I have one tattoo on my body, Memento Mori. It is Latin for remember death. Remember death. One day we are all going to die. All of us. And it does a lot for us to habitually consider that fact. It brings perspective back to life. Never forget the fact that you are going to die one day. Anyways, let's not get too dark. I love all of y'all, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you on the next one. And always remember that consistency creates kings. And if you are not consistent in the areas of your life that you want to improve within, then you are not going to see results. Anyways, peace out, y'all.